Hello, and
Welcome.
welcome to
Alternate
Fucking
Casuals.
What makes you
fucking
casual?
it don't matter.
What you know,
Fucking
well, anyway, let's fucking do this thing. All right, guys, we ready?
Yeah.
Let's fucking boogie. The ultimate effing casuals back up in your ears. Did UFC 316 just happen? Yes. Are we going to talk about it this time? No. So, make peace with it. Nathan, Isaac, we have assembled once again to talk the fights. How are you guys doing?
Dude, I'm excited. We're starting to get into this period of the year where we're having bangers after bangers in combat sports. So I'm really hyped.
Yep, the fight game is heating up along with the weather. It's officially summertime, and got some really good stuff on the horizon.
Get those shorts out, the grills out. It's summertime.
Oh, it is, isn't it? Excellent.
Make sure you break out the old Foremans in remembrance.
Oh yeah. Go.
They never did make like a larger size one. At least not that I can recall.
To scale.
Yeah, scale it up for
To scale Foreman grill.
big barbecues. In the rearview mirror, just on the boxing side of the street, for our homies over at Boxing B-Sides, wherever you're listening to this, you can hear that here as well. On the 31st of May, we had a PBC card, PBC on Prime. Two quick ones before we get to the main part of what happened on this. Kermel Moten gets a UD over Rennie Mastrapa. Kermel is for being only like 18, and this was his 7th or 8th fight. He's got a lot of spotlight on him, and I can't imagine. He's doing pretty well given all the pressure he's under. Doesn't seem like it's bothering him in the ring.
Yeah. He's still young. I feel like that's another like a Tama-like situation. Like let him. People want to see him fight champions already. It's like, man, let him develop.
Yeah.
Like let's not ruin prospects like this.
He's literally a kid. Give the kid some time.
Yeah, exactly.
Yoenli Hernandez versus Kyron Davis. This is the new school of Cubans, right?
Dude, holy shit, man. Yoenli looked crazy in this fight. I knew this was going to be a good fight, but man, Yoenli just massacred Kyron. It was domination.
Yeah.
Over 10 rounds.
It was scored a sweep on all 3 cards.
Yeah. And it was like, I know it was just like, oh, he won on points and all, but man, he hurt Kyron. Kyron took some serious damage in this fight. Yoenli, he was really, really trying for that knockout. He was throwing bombs. Yoenli looks really good. I think this is, like you said, that new age or new guard of Cubans. You know, they have that boxing prowess, but man, they're aggressive. They come at you instead of just waiting to counter. They're aggressive. It's dangerous fighting him. Yoenli is a name. Yoenli is someone we got to watch out for now.
To give maybe a little perspective on what kind of performance it was, it was a 10-round fight. So it was a 10-0 sweep plus a knockdown, so it was 100 to 89 on all the cards. This wasn't a masterclass. This was an ass whooping.
Mm-hmm.
Like using our award categories, this was an absolute beatdown. Beat his ass all 10 rounds.
Yeah.
In the co-main, Jermall Charlo stops Thomas Lamana, who ? In the 6th by the doctor. Not sure I agreed with the doctor's decision. Was this were they saving Charlo?
Charlo was, crushing him. This wasn't
He was in control.
particularly.
For sure.
Yeah, he was hurting him too. He had dropped him prior to this. Maybe I didn't really have that much of an opinion about the stoppage, other than that was what Charlo needed to happen in this fight. Like, he couldn't have gone the distance here. That wouldn't have been acceptable. But he got the win. I think he would have gotten the stoppage later in the fight had the doctor not stepped in. So I'm not that broken up about it. But this was a good comeback performance, even if it was against a who knows who.
That's that cornflake, Thomas Lamanna. Charlo, man, he knocked him down like 3 times.
Yeah, I think
something like that. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty much a domination. Like, there was no. I think I can really only remember one time when Lamanna landed on Charlo, and it wasn't like super impactful. But man, I will say this fight was hilarious. Lamanna, like, you would think that the person that's winning is taunting. Lamanna, he would get knocked down, stand up, and immediately start trolling Charlo. Like, I mean, it was just hilarious. This fight was super funny to watch. But yeah, it was very good win by Charlo. Pretty dominant, like he should.
I was just wondering if they had the doctor step in, because Jermall was clearly in control. He was clearly going to win regardless of how it ended. But he had him and Caleb Plant from the main event. They were on a collision course. And I was wondering if they kind of stepped in to make sure Charlo made it to that event. That's since they had they had post bookings.
I don't know like exactly when, like, whether it would be like the 6th, 7th, 8th round, but I think Charlo was eventually going to get the knockout. And seeing as Lamanna was already down 3 times, and he pretty much showed nothing back, that he was a threat to Charlo. I'm sort of okay with the stoppage. And Lamanna looked like he was in a wreck, man. His face was ruined.
Speaking of the collision course, Caleb Plant drops the ball. Armando Resendiz, split decision. Should not have been a split, because that was the clearest.
That's insane.
Clearest case of 8-4 I've ever seen. Plant.
Sunderland is a criminal. I had Resendiz up. I think it was like 2 points. I don't know how you score that fight for Caleb. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not sure how that happens.
I don't see how you could. Even a 7-5, which is like barring a draw. Even a draw would have been unacceptable. Yeah,
I thought there was some potential that we could get a draw. Whenever I heard, well, I mean, they said split decision, but whenever I saw that we had to, we had one scorecard for Caleb Plant, I was like, man, if they scored this last one a draw, this is crazy. And that would be a crazy robbery. And if I was to send this, I'd be super pissed, because, I mean, this is his career. I mean, this is a massive win for him. Puts his name on the front of super middleweight division. But I'm glad they got it right, at least, even if it was a split decision. They got it right.
I actually think there is a very logical way that you could score this fight for Caleb Plant, and that's if Al Heyman paid you a fat fucking check right before the fight started to do that. That's really the only way that could have happened.
A burlap sack with a big dollar sign on it. Cartoonishly corrupt.
It's that money underneath the table.
Yeah.
Just let Plant pass. Yeah. This is the thing. I think you could still do the Plant and Charlo fight. And that storyline is still there. And I mean, Charlo,
I mean, I totally agree. The loss doesn't. I mean, neither of them are like.
They're not challenging for a title anytime soon.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that was an interim super middleweight title, right?
I think so.
Yeah, it didn't count. I mean, just let them fight. They could still put that on a pay-per-view. It would probably still sell.
Yeah, that's still good money. But yeah, Resendiz, man, he clutched. This was crazy.
Yeah, he showed out.
We had seen signs of it, honestly, about like Caleb Plant potentially being washed whenever he got hurt. Bamakombi, I forget when that fight was. I think, was it last year?
September of last year.
Yeah. Whenever, I mean, Caleb Plant, I was actually super worried he was going to get stopped in that fight. But he ended up rallying back and was able to win in the later rounds. But we have sort of seen signs that he may be, he's been in wars, man. I mean, he was in a war with Benavidez. He took a lot of damage there, and then he got stopped against Canelo as well. He's been in some wars. I mean, that's going to wear on the body. So I mean, we're seeing signs of it, and I think this fight finally brought everything to light that he's a decent bit past his prime now.
It's too bad. He's a fun character.
Yeah, he's a dog.
But enough boxing talk. If you want to hear more about that, boxing B-sides. Moving into some news, Noche UFC has been moved from where? Jalisco to San Antonio, Texas?
Yeah, from Guadalajara, because there was some issues with the venue that they were going to have in Jalisco. It's undergoing construction, and it wasn't going to be ready for the production team or UFC production team to get in and do whatever they needed to do to set it up. So instead of having it this year in Jalisco, they're going to have it potentially next year, again for around September 13th, for next year's Noche UFC. But for this year, they're going to be, was it San Antonio?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So just some slight modifications.
Basically in my backyard, so we may have a ultimate fucking casual on scene.
Yes, bro.
Ooh,
I think
See that.
they gotta put Yair versus Lopez on that card, man. They have to. We can get I feel like this could end up being a good card. We can get little Brandon Moreno in there as well. I don't know what else they can stack on there, but I'm excited to see who they put on the card.
Oh, when you said Yair versus Lopez, I thought that was already confirmed.
No,
because they're.
apparently,
Go ahead, Isaac.
I was just saying, the plan was, I mean, because obviously they need a title fight. It was going to be a pay-per-view event, in Mexico, so that you want to have a Mexican challenging for a belt. The plan was to do Yair versus Volk again, a rematch. Which, I mean, that fight sort of doesn't make sense because Yair got dominated not too long ago. I think he's 1-2 in his last 3 fights. That's what they were planning to do, but now, I mean, they don't really need to do that anymore since it's not going to be in Mexico. So I feel like you could still make a fight that Mexicans care about and the general fan base cares about now. I mean, there's a storyline there. We need to see Yair Rodriguez versus Diego Lopez. I mean, there's some serious beef between camps. It seems like, at least what we saw in the last press conference. So I think that's something that they should put on the card and maybe even headline. I mean, or at least be co-main or something. But that's a great fight. That's a high action fight. If they can manage to make that and put that on Noche UFC, people will tune in for that. I can say that.
All right. Anything more for the Noche UFC news?
Only that maybe I missed it if one of y'all mentioned it, but this has been downgraded from a pay-per-view, so that does change who they might be willing to put on this card. I think they would be willing to put Lopez and Yair as a headline, but I wouldn't expect a 2 or 3 champion setup.
Yeah, they don't need it anymore. I mean, because they could just, honestly, it could sort of be top heavy. I mean, I don't know. They can maybe add Brandon Moreno onto this card. I mean, because he's not going to be challenging for a belt anytime soon. Probably needs another fight before even thinking about a title. So, he just did a fight night not too long ago in Mexico as well. So they have more flexibility now that it's not going to be a pay-per-view.
Oh, that's good. Were any of the other 2 pay-per-view?
Which one?
Noche UFC, one or 2.
The Sphere.
Last one
the Sphere
was.
Oh, the Sphere.
Yeah, the Sphere card was pay-per-view.
Oh,
That was Marab and O'Malley.
Yeah,
Yeah.
excellent. Noche headline.
Yeah, it should still be fun.
All right, let's move into some recaps here. I'm gonna keep telling you about them because they keep happening. One Friday Fights 110. Fun stuff. Fun names. There were a fair amount of knockouts. I think there were only 3 decisions on the entire card. So something to keep in mind. Toyota Eagle Muay Thai. Eagle Muay Thai is all one word. Toyota's his name. Stops in the third. This was a 3 knockdown rule, but as it always happens, the third knockdown's always brutal. His name is Yod Udon. That's Yod brand udon noodles.
Dude, these are some crazy names, man. Some crazy names.
One out cold knockout, Mohammed Taufik in the third over Super Chub. Bang
Super
Sen
Chub.
Yeah, Super
It's
Chub.
just so crazy.
And man, that was a ladies' man, because all of the fucking girlies in the arena were squealing for him.
He's the Thai Ryan Garcia.
Yeah, I think Super Chub is the Thai.
The Thai Ryan Garcia.
The Thai Ryan. That works. Toon Min Aung, he's Myanmar. He's from Myanmar, and he fights out of a Lethwei club, which, if you're not familiar with what Lethwei is, it's the Burmese martial art. It's basically like barroom brawling, headbutts, fucking gouging, anything goes. And seeing him struggle with the Muay Thai rule set was interesting. Lethwei was made because Muay Thai was kicking the Burmese asses. But that's enough of that. Let's get to something a little more interesting. UFC Fight Night 419 just happened, like a week and a half ago or something like that. But still interesting stuff. Jordan Levitt submits Kurt Holloway, I think it is.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe Holloway. One of the two.
Submits him in the first. This isn't the one where the ref cam.
No. This isn't that one.
Dustin Jacoby beats the shit out of Bruno Lopez, leaving him
battering
slumped against the cage.
I will say as well, justice for Jacoby, man. This the only KO on the card, and he didn't get a fight bonus.
Oh, what?
What?
Yeah, it was a really nice KO too. I mean, he slumped him against the fence. It was actually really nice.
Yeah, it was brutal beatdown. Here's another brutal ending. Ramis Brahimaj submits Billy Ray Goff. Is it Goff or Joff? I think it's Goff.
Man,
It's the ref cam, ref's point of view. It was like a Stand By Me. Like, you want to go see a dead body, and that's pretty much what the ref did when he trotted over to check on Goff.
yeah,
It is
dude, the way
crazy to
his
see, just seeing
Go ahead,
that
go ahead.
angle, right, where you see and he's walking him down and getting that choke in deeper. It's like, oh my god, he's gonna snap his head off, and then
I
as soon
thought
as
he
he lets
was.
go, I mean, ragdoll. Like there's no life in him, is what it looks like.
Yeah, I mean the way his neck as well. Like after he let go, like the way his neck slammed on the canvas too. Man, it was. I know it was a
Slammed him
submission.
on
And
his
normally,
neck.
yeah, they're normally like a little bit easier on the body, but man, this was a bad submission.
He was really fighting it too, like the way he scrambled
Yeah.
to try to get out of it. That's what was worrying me. I was like, man, if he just holds his neck in place, he's gonna Goff is gonna break his own neck trying to get out of this.
Yeah, this reminded me a little bit. This was a few fights ago. I think it was like 2 fights ago, maybe. But Trayshawn Gore, he had a really nice submission as well. It looked similar, and it ended in the same way, where like the neck or the head slammed onto the canvas. It was, yeah, it is some brutal submissions.
In the clip, the ref is like tapping him, like, "Hey, wake up!" And he's not moving.
Yeah.
Oh, Simba and Mufasa moment. skipping up to the top. Aaron Blanchfield versus Macy Barber. What a anticlimactic ending. They played the little promo video, and that was supposed to be the beginning of the walkouts. And just at that moment, turns out Macy Barber can't compete for whatever reason. I think in the interview, Blanchfield said she was told that Barber was having like seizures or something.
Yeah. So that's what she was told. We still have not heard anything, by the way, regarding this fight. But yeah, I mean, it was really, I've never seen this happen before. I've seen people like pull out of fights same day. I mean, whenever Danny Gay stepped in, we had a similar situation, but never like, whenever they're playing your walkout music or your promo, like that's literal minutes before you're about to fight. She pulled out. So, I mean, it was worrisome. I mean, if it was truly like a seizure, then yeah, I mean, it's some pretty serious stuff. So I don't know. I hope, first of all, I hope she's okay, but this is just such a weird ending to a fight night. Like DC and Laura Sanko, like they were struggling to fill in time because, I mean, there was supposed to be like another, half hour of content that they were supposed to fill in with the fight, but ended up getting canceled. It was just a weird situation all around.
We were spared from an even more awkward situation where, Blanchfield wasn't in the ring yet. Like Barber was going to be the first one to walk out. And it was just like the video plays, it cuts out and it's just like quiet. You just hear the crowd and it's like, what the hell is going on? And then it's like, she's gone. So like, I wonder if she even like made it to the tunnel, like even got out of her locker room. Like it seems weird that even, because you feel like if there was any, like, well, I don't know, I guess a seizure can come on suddenly, but I feel like there would have been signs if she was in that bad of shape. Like, were they just like delusionally like, we have to get this fight, we have to get, at least a paycheck for stepping in the ring, right? Like, was this a desperation kind of stance from her team? I don't know. But, I mean, never seen anything like this before in the UFC before. And, I mean, it's scary because, like, what the hell happened, She's in the hospital, apparently. We don't know anything other than that. They've not made any sort of statement. And it's like, that's... And, I mean, I think the UFC has to, like, step in here and not allow her to fight, at least no longer in this division, right? Because if your weight cut is so terrible that it's not just you're missing weight, but you're like physically unable to compete, like you could die, right? Because imagine if she had stepped in that condition and got kicked in the head or punched, right?
Yeah.
Like that becomes a life-threatening situation very quickly. So I mean, I think the UFC has to step in here and prevent her from competing if her own team won't even do it.
Yeah, if she had a seizure, she can't fight anymore. And I'm going to be very surprised that if they continue to let her fight, because that's just asking for something bad to happen. But yeah, I mean, the weight cut was bad. I mean, she looked super drained and she still missed weight. So, I mean, I don't know, something's definitely wrong in the camp. Obviously, we hope the best for Barber. But yeah, I don't, if that's what truly happened, I don't think she should be allowed to compete anymore. Like for her own safety.
It doesn't seem like her team is going to make that kind of decision. Because they were clearly okay with walking out. And it took the commission medical staff to step in and say, you cannot compete like this. How did they not see this before? Do they not have checks before this? I don't know.
And I mean, normally, like leading up, there's multiple checks.
Right.
But I don't know if something developed after the weight cut. I mean, we did say that the weight cut looked really bad, even though the fight was going to continue. But maybe something developed because of the bad weight cut, like Nathan said. So, I don't know, man. I mean, dehydrating yourself is never good, especially like to those
Dangerous.
extremes. Yeah, and it can cause like a crazy amount of issues. So I mean, hopefully it's nothing like crazy serious,
hopefully.
or like that affects her like normal life. But yeah, this is a weird situation. I will say this though, the UFC did pay Erin Blanchfield her show and her win money. So even though she didn't fight, the UFC paid her like fully.
That's good.
So I think that's good on the UFC, because that's not Blanchfield's fault.
Maybe this is a conspiracy theory, but I saw some clip that showed Macy Barber has had some augmentation,
Yeah.
shall we say, and she missed weight by about how much you would think such an augmentation would weigh.
Mhm.
Half a pound. I thought that was pretty funny. You
Yeah,
get
there were people saying
surgery
as well,
and-
like like potential like infections and stuff too. But
Yeah, that's
I'm
what I
not
thought it
I'm not
was.
sure exactly what happened either. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. Hopefully it's something that's fixable at least.
Something about, you mentioned that Blanchfield got paid anyway, even though the fights didn't go through. It was interesting that we learned before where John Jones asked to be paid like a kind of absurd amount of money to fight Tom Aspinall, and the UFC went forward with it, even if they were just calling a bluff. They still like, okay, we'll pony up the cash.
Yeah, I mean, we've seen this before in in boxing as well. I mean, Canelo asking for, what was it, like 200 million to fight Benavidez. Like, pricing yourself out is another form of ducking.
Yes, it is.
That is another form of ducking. So like, we've seen it before.
Just goes in the face of what my preconceived notions of UFC. They paid somebody
Yeah, I mean,
who didn't even really compete.
yeah, this is at least good in this situation, just because, I mean, Blanchfield was ready to fight.
Yeah, she did everything right.
Yeah.
Anything more for this fight night card?
Man, it's dire, man. This is really dire.
Didn't they have
Cursed.
a few fights drop from the bill?
There was only 9 fights. Yeah, there's only 9 fights total, and it was already like a struggling card, even with like all 11 fights. So yeah, this is like, if you were to encapsulate what like modern UFC is nowadays, like post like the McGregor era, post like their star era, like this card really sums it up, how dire it is right now.
All right, so before heading to a little break, follow, subscribe, fucking like, share, all that shit, all the internet stuff. Do that stuff if you could, please. It would help us out a lot. If you want to take it a step further, shop.lvx.be. If you want to help us out and get yourself some threads while you're at it. All right, so with all that shit said, be right back. Support for this episode is from Malwarebytes. In today's digital world, threats are everywhere. From sneaky spyware to intrusive viruses, your computers and mobile devices are constantly at risk. Losing your personal data, financial information, or even having your device held ransom is a nightmare no one wants to face. And that's why you need to look at Malwarebytes. It's the ultimate shield for digital life. Malwarebytes provides powerful real-time antivirus and anti-malware protection, keeping computers and smartphones safe from the latest threats. For those with 10 or more devices, Malwarebytes has you covered. From laptops and tablets to smartphones, Malwarebytes family plans provide comprehensive protection you can trust. Don't wait until it's too late. Secure your digital world with Malwarebytes and get the peace of mind you deserve, knowing that your data and your devices are safe. Go to mwb.lvx.be and get 50% off your subscription today. Here's a little hint. You can reuse that code later down the line with a new account. Keep saving for yourself and help us out a little bit too in the process. Support for this episode is from Ramen Bay. Ever have that ramen craving hit hard? You know the feeling. Sometimes you want that rich, savory broth and those perfectly chewy noodles, but you don't have time for all the fuss. Well, say hello to Ramen Bay. They've taken the best ingredients for ramen and freeze-dried them for ultimate convenience and incredible flavor. Imagine, vibrant vegetables, flavorful proteins, and aromatic seasonings, all ready to rehydrate into a bowl of pure satisfaction. No chopping or long simmering, just add hot water and a healthy spritz of Ramen Bay. Because the ingredients are freeze-dried and vacuum sealed, they lock in taste, giving you a quick and easy meal that doesn't compromise on quality or flavor. So, the next time the ramen urge hits, don't forget Ramen Bay. It's your new, not-so-secret ingredient to a delicious, hassle-free situationship anytime. Hit up the Bay for ramen and chill at ramen.lvx.be or use code LVX10 at checkout. Get yourself 10% off every order and help us out a little bit when you do. That's Ramen Bay. ramen.lvx.be. Hey, did you know that our little bee buddies are having a bit of a tough time recently? They're really important for so much of our food. Without any bees, we're going to have a lot less yummy stuff. The good news is that you can help the bees while also helping us. Support for this episode is from Project Honeybees. Every purchase adopts a queen bee, who will have her own colony if she doesn't already have one, and she'll be kept in a sanctuary in various places around the world. My adopted queen, who I named Queen Spider, she was found in a restaurant trash bin out back, but the name Queen Spider, that's a story for another time. So if you want to be a bee hero, would that be Beero? Check out bees.lvx.be and get a look at all the lovely gift ideas. There's bracelets, necklaces, earrings, a lot of jewelry stuff. Use code LEO33862 at checkout to help keep the bees buzzing. Buzz, buzz, motherfuckers. Woof. All right, into the previews. It's light-ish. Before we get to, it's actually not light. It's a solid 3-day run of combat sports. On Thursday, June 12th, PFL 2025, the welterweights and featherweights are going to be happening. It's going to be on ESPN Plus. There's some semifinals, so these are decent fights, I would say. Jason Jackson, he's kind of like the favorite for the welterweights right now. It's worth checking out. Gabriel Braga is pretty good. He always makes a deep run into the playoffs. And that's about all I got. But there's a lot of fights, and it's on a Thursday. So if you want more, there you go.
Yeah, top 2 fights should be decent.
Yeah.
Jason Jackson is a good fighter. Pineda, I believe, had the upset win over Brendan Loughnane. I forget when it was. It was over a year ago, I think. But the top 2 fights are at least decent
Yeah,
good
the
fights.
top 2 are
I believe
good.
Logan Storley even is somewhat of a name too. So it's got some fights to watch out for.
Friday, June 13th. This one will be about 5-6 in the morning on the West Coast. 1 Friday fights 112. Don't know who they are yet, but expect knockouts, because there always are. And Saturday, June 14th, if you're not going to be attending a particular parade, UFC Fight Night 420. Yeah. This is a good card.
Yes.
So let's start from the bottom up. Prelims: Ricky Simon versus Charles Jourdain at bantamweight. Alonzo Menefield versus Umar Sy. That's a good fight. Recommend that one to the viewing public. Teresa Bleda versus Jamie Lynn Horth. And I think that's all for the prelims. Cody Durden versus Jose Ochoa. Edmund Shabazian versus Andre Petrovsky. Mansoor Abdul Malik versus Cody Brundage. Brundage. I know you.
Yeah, he has a decent amount of losses, but he's a pretty exciting fighter. The main card is pretty decent for a fight night.
Michael Chiesa versus Court McGee. Rose Namajunas versus Miranda Maverick. Fun.
It's going to be an interesting fight. Rose has not looked the same in her last several fights. I don't know much about Maverick, but just the way Rose's trajectory is, if this is like some up-and-comer, I mean, I don't feel great about Rose's chances here. 27 years old? Yeah, I mean, ooh. Won her last couple fights. We'll see. I hope Rose has it. I mean, probably my favorite active women's MMA fighter. And but you know, she's on the wrong end of her career right now.
Unfortunate.
Yeah. I think it'd be a fun fight though. Miranda Maverick is like, she doesn't fight super negative, so at the very minimum, I think we'll see a good fight. It won't be like like Rose versus Esparza.
And our headline: Kamaru Usman versus Joaquin Buckley, 5th and 7th at welterweight.
All right, now this is a big fight. Dude, Usman's been out for some time now, and you know, he, like we were just talking about Rose, but Kamaru Usman is also, you know, in the back end of his career. You know, he was a dominant champion for some time, but it's, you know, we're getting close to that time where he might have to retire, and Buckley might be the one to do it, man. Buckley can crack. This dude, you know, we've been watching him sort of steamroll through people recently in the welterweight division. He's coming off that Wonder Boy win. Oh, no, the Colby Covington win, right?
Yeah, Colby Covington.
Was that? Yeah, so, you know, he's got Wonder Boy, Colby Covington. He's got some momentum behind him, and man, I'm excited to see this fight because Buckley is one of these names at welterweight. And if he can dispatch Usman, you know, in some flashy form, I think he might be writing himself a ticket to a potential welterweight title fight. Not next, but maybe like next year or something like that. Welterweight is starting to get pretty stacked now. There's a lot of names that we see as title contenders now.
I remember it was Colby Covington because of the little thing Buckley did on social media. His friend catches him out in the woods, and he's acting like pretend he's crying. And he says, "I was supposed to fight the cuck. It's supposed to be the buck versus the cuck.
Yeah,
not Colby Covington."
Yeah. His skits are pretty good that he puts online. Yeah, dude, seeing Usman, like, this is the thing that we could see. Usman might get laid out by Buckley because Buckley has some nice takedown defense.
He's got some power too.
And yeah, serious power.
Oh, that's it. We're wrapping it up pretty early here.
Who do you think? Who do you guys have like in this Usman versus Buckley fight? Like, I think I'm probably gonna go with Buckley.
I'm riding hard with Kamara. I was a massive hater of him back in the day. It wasn't until after the fact that I realized just kind of how good he is. And I think even looking back at like the Chimaev fight, right? He could beat Dricus in a couple months and be the middleweight champion. And he's maintained that Kamaru is his hardest fight ever. And that was him coming off the couch basically on short notice to fight in another country. Like, I mean, it's going to depend on him physically. Like, if his knees are shot, then there's nothing he can do about it. But, like, I don't think I realized how well-rounded of a martial artist he was until, like, he couldn't fight anymore. And I think if you take the Leon hiccup away, which I know that's maybe not fair, it's still a fight that happened. But I think he could really give Buckley hell in this fight. And I think he will. I think the experience and the breadth of skills is going to be a little too much.
Yeah, I think for me, I like Usman a lot too. He gave us a lot of good fights. We got the Covington fights, we had the Edwards fight, and then there was like the Masvidal fights. He's a legend. Well, his welterweight resume is really solid, and like he's always going to be a legend in the welterweight division. But I do think age is going to start to become a factor. I remember years ago we were talking about his knees being shot, and he had said so. Things like he has to walk in the grass whenever he's outside. He can't walk on the pavement, or he has to walk, backwards downstairs because his knees are, that damaged. I don't know if he's had any surgeries or procedures to fix that, but I don't know. I feel like, especially against an explosive fighter like Buckley, I feel like Buckley might just be a little bit too much at this point in Usman's career. If this was like, prime Usman, I'd probably take Usman to win this, but I think at this point in his career, Buckley might be a little bit too much.
That's, I think, where I'm landing as well, with Usman being on the tail end of his career. Joints aren't what they used to be, and what else do you need if you're going to be a wrestler but your knees? Definitely going to need those for fucking anything, really. But for how Usman fights, it's the explosiveness, athleticism, it's going to be a little too much, and Buckley's going to, he's going to hurt Usman, and I don't like it. I don't feel good about it.
I think unfortunately it could be a KO for Buckley. I just feel like he's got a lot of momentum behind him right now too, so I think that's what we'll see. But we'll see. I don't know. Kamaru Usman, he's really, really good ring intelligence, or octagon intelligence rather. He could surprise us. We'll see.
Do you have anything more for UFC Fight Night 420? Nice.
I'm excited. This is a nice little card.
All right.
I am, even if it ends up being a disaster for Usman, I am keenly interested to see how washed or not washed he is. Because what if let's just play pretend here. Let's just say he comes out and absolutely dominates. That's I don't think any of us are expecting that, but let's just hypothetically say it happened. What does that do for the welterweight division if Kamaru is actually a force to be reckoned with?
Yeah, that changes a lot of things because of his age, do you sort of give him that shot first just because you could get the chance to, have him be champ, or reach that 2X champ status in the welterweight division. And yeah, it's him winning that'd mess up Buckley's plans 100%, but I feel like you could see some interesting matchups happen because of that. So yeah,
he'd probably get rewarded. Result, yeah. He'd probably get rewarded with the Shavkat fight.
Oh man, what a reward.
Yeah, I know. I'm sure he'll feel very blessed by that.
Has Usman welterweight is Bilal?
No, I don't think so. I don't think so. Yeah, dude, welterweight is it sort of got stacked out of nowhere. Because we got Sean Brady, Shavkat, Ian Gary, JDM, Bilal still here, Buckley. It's sort of stacked. The top 5-7 people, they're all really, really tough matchups.
All right, let me do. You've been listening to the Ultimate Effin' Casuals, a Lux Media production. If you'd like to give your thoughts, or you need to let us know how terrible you think our takes are, you can duck us and text the anonymous line at 833-589-7637. If you want to stand on your business, send a voice message or send a voice note in WhatsApp, and we'll see if you're interesting enough to make the final cut of the show. 833-LUXPODS. If you prefer to hit us up on social media, the account name is LVX Media Net, all one word. That's YouTube, Instagram, Blue Sky, all the rest of that bullshit. If you can't find us, chances are we're not on it. Patreon is where you can go to get ad-free episodes and other behind-the-scenes exclusives while directly supporting what we do. LVX Media Net over there, just like everywhere else. Even if you don't sign up on Patreon, you can still help us out if you check out our ad sponsors. You can also help by giving us a rating and a review on whatever app you're listening on. And last but not least, you can also check out the merch shop. New stuff goes up all the time. Metal intros by Anders Janhunen. The trap intro and the outro are by Middle of Nowhere Beats. And for more shows like the one you just listened to, go to lvxmedia.net. So I got an interesting question here that I'm seeing on the headlines. Can Pereira beat Ankalaev in a rematch?
Absolutely, you can.
I think it's possible, yeah.
I think the biggest question going into the first fight was that would he have any answer for the wrestling? And the thing is, he did, right? From a purely defensive standpoint, he was able to stuff most of Ankalaev's takedowns, and he didn't take massive damage on the ground. The problem is he couldn't get his striking going. Like, he was so hyper focused on the wrestling that he couldn't get his punches together. And so I think in a rematch where he's more familiar and he's got a whole nother camp to kind of marry those two styles, I think there's the real chance he could win, but it would be a very tough fight for him.
Yeah. I think we saw in the first fight, like, he has, decent takedown defense against Ankalaev. I mean, who was trying to throw takedowns in that fight. But it was just one of those things that Pereira was a little bit too hesitant, focused so much on defending the takedowns that he wasn't getting his offense off against Ankalaev. So it's in the second fight, I think the odds would still be close. Even though Ankalaev beat him pretty convincingly in the first fight, I think the odds would remain somewhat close to pick 'em odds.
Damn.
Pereira's got that power, man. If he lands, it's over. It's a great equalizer.
That's what Strickland said. That Alex goes too hard.
Yeah, Strickland knows. Strickland knows that power is for real.
Oh fuck! That's all I got. Tried to do.
Do you think we did see the thing with Ankalaev about, Ankalaev mentioning that Pereira is effectively retired? Do you guys believe it? Do you think Pereira's done, or do you think he'll?
Oh,
he'll
no.
come back?
No, I don't think so.
Do you think Ankalaev's just trolling?
He's proven to be one of the most unreliable shit talkers imaginable. Because he said multiple times before the AP fight, "Oh, it's never happening." He's trying to avoid me, this, that, and the other. And the fight happened.
Yeah.
So I just think he's not very good at this whole trolling thing.
Yeah, I tend to believe he'll come back, and I think we even see it this year. I don't know when, but I think we do see it this year.
End of the year.
Yeah, I think we'll probably. If I was to guess, probably August, September. I know Ankalaev was saying he was ready to go June, July, August, but I think Pereira probably wants a little bit more time to properly prepare for it. Just since it is he can't just rely on just striking. So yeah, I think we do see it though.
There's another question similar. This one's about Petr Yan though, and one of the what's next for Petr Yan after the Whittaker de Ridder card. And this, assuming he wins, this one's saying if Yan does not get the winner of Merab versus O'Malley 2, he could turn his attention towards Henry Cejudo.
That's not a terrible fight, but it does suck for him. I feel like he's done enough to earn a title shot. Maybe not as much as Sandhagen has, because I know Sandhagen's been rumored to be next in line. That's who Merab wants to fight next. But Cejudo would not be a very winnable fight for Yan. I think Yan would probably school him at this point.
Yeah, I can't believe they've super stiffed Yan into that McGee fight. This dude should be fighting top contenders, and they're making him gatekeep. It's sort of weird, but yeah, I don't know, sort of sucks for Yan, but I do think Sandhagen is next. If Marab loses, by the way, there will not be an immediate rematch. I think they'll move on with O'Malley, versus, I don't know, someone like Sandhagen. I don't think they'll like turn around immediately and do a trilogy.
Depending on how it ends, would certain types of endings? No, never mind. Moving along to nothing. I think we're good here. All right, I already did that. So we're heading into Usman versus Buckley. Parting words.
Dude, I'm excited. This is like one of the first thing. This is a fight night, but it's, we're kicking off. We were talking about it last week. We're kicking off the big slate of summer fights. I'm excited, man. I'm excited. Should be a banger. Atlanta's got a good one.
Yeah, hopefully that the trend, the trend is continuing for now. The fight nights are staying good. Looks like they'll be staying good for a minute. Once we got past that horrible one in the Apex, but that doesn't count. Real fight nights happen with real crowds, and we're getting a real fight in June 14th in Atlanta.
All right, if that's all you guys got, then that's it for this episode of the Ultimate Effin' Casuals. We'll see you next time on the other side of Fight Night 420.
Sir, yes, sir. All right.
All right.